everyone's got a lot of things going on in the background out there. So when the time comes and I'm starting this presentation, I really don't want to mute myself because I do very interactive presentations. So I would like for all of you to be able to kind of jump in and speak on things rather than me just reading a presentation. So if you guys can work with me and make sure it's not too noisy in the background, then I'll leave the microphones open to give you all an opportunity to jump in during the presentations. What do you guys think about that? Would everyone be willing to control the noise in their backgrounds so that we could make this an interactive presentation rather than me just reading and then asking you later? What does everyone think? Put a thumbs up in your box if you agree with this, or put your thumb up. All right.
I'm not able to control the noise in the background, Guy.
You're not?
I'll stay muted. No, I've got a swamp cooler and it's blowing through, so it's gonna always have a continual fan blasting.
Oh, okay. Got you, Curtis. Well, if you have anything that any questions you want to ask or anything you want to add, please just unmute yourself. I know you have a lot of great information because you've been a Toastmaster for a while. Okay, so I'm not going to mute everyone, just as long as we can do our best to control the volume of things happening in our backgrounds.
Yeah, it looks like it.
All right, so as we're continuing to have people who are filtering into this presentation, welcome to you all. This is the Vice President of Membership presentation. And as I had mentioned before, I'm going to be requesting that everyone who comes into this presentation puts their information into the chat box, the club you're representing and your name, so that we can make sure that you get credit for having attended this presentation. That's something to be very diligent about because we want to make sure that everyone gets credit for showing up here today.
Okay, I hate to sound stupid. I don't know what chat box.
All right, I was waiting for someone.
Okay, I see where it says chat.
I was waiting for someone who didn't know her, so you got it now. Yeah, there's a drop-down menu. Click on the chat. There's a drop-down menu where it says everyone. Just type your name in, and that way I'll be able to save it, and you'll get credit for showing up today. Eight-minute warning, everyone. We are going to get started promptly at 9:30 a.m. Right. So I know that with us doing these online meetings right now, we've had the opportunity to meet a lot of people from around the world. I know some of the clubs that I'm in, we've literally had visitors from Nepal, China, countries all over the world. Who in here that's in this training will share in the chat box some of the cool countries that people have visited your club from? Can you guys remember? Or cool clubs that you have visited? What about you, Stephen?
Well, we have Vice President of Public Relations that is from Romania. And she comes in from Zoom from Romania.
Really?
Yep.
And she is now the Vice President of Public Relations for your club.
Yep.
How'd you go about that? How'd you convince her not only to join your club, but to become
she was a member.
Public Relations?
She was a member before that, but her visa ran out, so she had to go to Spain, and then she's on her way to Romania right now. and she still wanted to be part of our club. And since we're on Zoom, we can do that.
So what club are you from?
Oh, Toastmasters.
I know, but which one?
What do you mean, which one?
You're in District 115, so which
Yeah,
club?
District 115,
Right, but what's the name of your club?
Pro Toastmasters.
Pro Toastmasters? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that part.
Oh, okay. I'm also going to be the new area director for D1.
Oh, okay.
That's great. I think I was there when you guys had your open house, and I remember her being there. And so isn't that a great opportunity for someone who moves to another country, but they can still be a member of your club because of this whole virtual component?
And we're working, and not only that, but we're working out that if we go live, we're still going to bring her in on a Zoom meeting so she can still participate.
Nice.
Right. Yes, this pandemic has created unexpected opportunity for our clubs. It really has. And not just, I was talking about people that came and visited your club, but along with that, and I'll get more into this when I'm doing the actual presentation, it's actually opened up a huge ability for us to be able to add members from places that we ordinarily never would have been able to add members.
Lori?
It gets cut off, but Viva Las Voices, DeVry, and Bon Appetit.
Lori,
Yes.
you and Dana have the exact same link.
Yes, are you here for treasurer
Yeah.
or sergeant at arms?
SAA.
Okay.
You want to go to the VPPR link that's in the afternoon. That's the sergeant at arms link.
Okay, thank you.
Right, this is Vice President of Membership. For everyone, in case you might have had a mix-up with the link, this is a presentation for the Vice President of Membership.
Got it. What was your name and what club are you from?
My name is Guy Dawson, and I'm from a lot of clubs, but my home club is Windjammers.
Okay, Guy Dawson. Okay, just wanted to make sure I knew. Okay.
All right, people are still coming in.
Hey, Guy, I sent a request to go to one of your meetings because you're on my you're my D1, one of the clubs for me, and I haven't gotten a response back.
What people are you?
Who did you send it to?
Well, it was a generalization on the club's website.
Oh, got you. Okay, so you have my email address?
No,
Mom
no.
texted me and said, what is this, treasurer? And I went and looked. I went, oh, we didn't notice it before now. Sorry. I just looked at
Can you put it in the chat privately?
Make sure she sends me
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
PR link.
Dana,
Right.
do you need us to put our names?
Yeah.
All right. So we've got someone who's got a lot of background noise going on. So we've all agreed that I'm going to try my best not to have to mute everyone during this presentation. But as I had mentioned before, you all have to cooperate with me and make sure that whoever this person is right now, who's got a lot of stuff going on in the
Dana?
background.
Yes.
I'm just going to sit in here and observe your meeting since I'm doing it this afternoon.
We have 2 minutes.
Ah, okay. All right. Sounds
So
good.
that's you,
I
Todd.
also sent,
It's Todd.
There we go.
Yep.
There we go. All right. So Todd's muted for good. Let me tell you something. When that happens, you are permanently muted. Understand that. But the reason why I don't want to mute everyone is because I would like to keep this as an interactive presentation. That's just my presentation style. I'm really big on people being able to jump in and share things about your experience, because I'm sure there are people out there who have been a vice president of membership before, but also to ask questions as we go along. So again, I want to leave the microphones open or allow you to unmute yourself if you have questions. But if there continues to be background noise, if I mute you, don't take it personally. Just know that we want to create a good recording here and also maintain the fluidity of this presentation. All right, we've got 1 minute warning, everyone. I guess you should be doing that, huh, Larry? You can unmute yourself.
Yes. 1 minute warning, people.
Out of curiosity, how long is this training?
1 hour.
Oh, okay.
It is 9:30. We are officially calling this meeting to order. I want to remind everyone to only unmute yourself if you have something to add or have a question for Mr. Dawson. Rename yourself so that we have a record of who you are, and also record your name and the clubs that you belong to in the chat room. This is being recorded. If you do not want your face permanently recorded, you might want to stop the video portion. It is my pleasure to introduce our presenter for today, Mr. Guy Dawson. He is Distinguished Toastmaster, past District Director, joined Toastmasters in 2007 with the goal of becoming a professional speaker. Along the way, he discovered that leadership was the path that would allow him to best serve other Toastmasters. Guy served as the Area D2 Director in 2012-2013, led Division D to select distinguished status in 2013-2014, and was the District Public Relations Officer 2014-2015. As District 33's Club Growth Director in 2015-2016, Guy facilitated the chartering of 15 new Toastmaster clubs. In 2016-2017, he was the Program Quality Director as District 33 finished as a President's Distinguished District that ranked number 9 in the world. He was District 33's Director in the 2017-2018 year and helped facilitate the rollout of the Pathways program. Please welcome Distinguished Toastmaster, past District Director, Guy Dawson, with his presentation for VP of Membership. Guy Dawson.
Thank you, everyone, and welcome to our presentation for the position of Vice President of Membership. Before I get started with the presentation, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping. Thank you so much, Larry, for such a spectacular introduction. So for those of you who didn't hear before, because I know we've all been kind of filtering into the presentation, I'm requesting that everyone who come in types all of their information into the chat box. We want to make sure, as Larry had mentioned before, they had asked you to put your information into your box, which is very important, but I want to make sure that everyone gets credit for participating in this presentation. So please type your information in the chat box. I'll save it, and that way I'll be able to forward it to the district leaders to make sure that you get credit for attending today. And one last time, I wanted to let everyone know that I have a interactive presentation style, which means that I am very open to people reaching out to me when they have questions about the material that we're going to be going over, and also that anyone who has input. Let me ask this really quickly. How many of you have been a Vice President of Membership before? Quite a few of you. All the hands raising. That is great. One of the things that I love about Toastmasters is that we all have so much to bring to the table, which are our experiences. And that's why those of you who raised your hands and said that you'd been Vice Presidents of Membership before, I appreciate the feedback that you might be able to provide during this presentation, because the perspectives. I have a perspective, having been a Vice President of Membership myself times, but no one knows everything, and there are little nuggets that people can give you in these types of workshops that can be very helpful. and it'll come from someone other than me sometimes. So yes, absolutely, I would encourage everyone, if I'm going to take breaks and I'm going to be asking for feedback, please, if you have something to share about experiences that you have, or if you have questions to ask of me or other people who have either been a vice president of membership before or who have experience bringing in members into our clubs, do not hesitate to reach out and become a part of this presentation. Everyone good with that? Wonderful. So we are going to get into the presentation.
So how would you like us to ask questions? Just ask, and if it's not too many people talking, you'll hear us?
Right, what will happen is, that's an excellent question. What will happen is I will stop and I will say, do you have any questions about anything that I just covered? And that's your time to jump in. You can unmute yourself and you can talk. And trust me, I manage a lot of Zoom meetings, so I'm pretty good at being able to kind of align everyone to be able to ask the question. Was that helpful?
Yep, thank you.
Okay, great. I am going to pull up the PowerPoint. All right, is everyone seeing this?
Yes.
Thumbs up. Vice President of Membership. For those of us who are members of Toastmasters, we understand that your clubs are all about your members. And for me, the whole experience of being in this organization is about the way that we educate one another. Toastmasters has a great system for doing things, for educating us at the level of being able to pass information on to other people. But ultimately, from my experience in Toastmasters, it's more about, once we have convinced someone to become a member of our club, we bring them into an educational opportunity that is going to have a phenomenal impact upon their lives. And that's why I think it's so important that we, as vice presidents of memberships in clubs, really do all that we can to create an environment that inspires people to want to join our clubs. And I want to start off with saying that we are here specifically for a presentation for the vice president of membership, the specific roles that we are going to play or have played. However, I would also like you to look at it from this perspective. Literally every member of your club is a vice president of membership, and that you're not doing this job all by yourself. This is something that I like to impress upon all clubs, is it's important that everyone assume responsibility for all the roles literally within a club. Because if everyone just says, okay, you're the vice president of membership, we need you to get members into the club, you can miss out on so many opportunities that other members could contribute in the same way. So when everyone puts that burden just on the vice president of membership to bring members into the club, it can be very challenging. And so for all of those out there who are watching this presentation, I would say that you invite the other members of your club to assume the role of vice president of membership from that perspective. Constantly reach out to them and let them know, yes, I have been elected the vice president of membership. However, any contribution that you can make to bring members in, to encourage people to want to join our club is greatly appreciated. And also that you are open to ideas about ways that we can increase our membership. Because having robust membership, having a continuous flow of people coming into your club is unbelievably important. And whoever that is, will you please mute yourself? Thank you. Continuously having people join your club is so important on a lot of levels, and I'll be explaining that as I move along on this PowerPoint. But that was a point that I wanted to bring up right off the bat, is that you are not a vice president of membership on an island. Please always encourage people who are members of your club to invite people to contribute to the membership growth efforts of your club. It makes all the difference in the world when you have other people who are contributing, and they will contribute if you ask. And some of the things that we're going to go over during this presentation will hopefully help you to know how to ask members of your clubs to contribute in the process of bringing in new members. Our agenda for today, we are going to talk about the role of Vice President of Membership. We will also talk about the responsibilities of the Vice President of Membership and some of the resources that you as a Vice President of Membership can use to more effectively recruit new members. And I mean, what a fun job Vice President of Membership is, in my opinion. I've done literally all the roles in a Toastmaster club, although I don't think I've actually been a treasurer of a club, but I've done every other role in Toastmasters. And I would say that the Vice President of Membership can be one of the most fulfilling roles in it's something that has such value to your club. And you get to meet new people, there's the interaction, it really develops a skill set that in terms of being in marketing and sales, that it can contribute to so many areas of your lives. And it's just like any role that you take on, it's about how much do you put into it. You will get out of it what you put into it, but it can be such a fun role, especially when you start getting people who are joining the club. And you know that the efforts that you're putting towards that, along with the other members of the club, again, this is a group effort. When you are all working together and you're starting to see members come into the club, it is so rewarding and so fulfilling. And always remember that those people that are joining your club are bringing lifelong experiences along with them, which contribute immensely to the success of your club and the way that it runs. So these are the topics that we're going to be covering. The objectives of this session are to identify your role, fulfill your responsibilities, and find the resources that help you. VPM role. And you see the big Rubik's Cube up in the corner. It's the puzzle of trying to figure out how to get people to join your club. And we're going to go over your responsibilities at the club meeting, outside the club meeting, and with the executive committee. The club meeting. Before club meetings, as the Vice President of Membership, you are very pivotal in setting the stage for making an environment that is inviting to people who might be visiting your club. I would say that it's really critical that you as the Vice President of Membership always want to be on time, actually be there well before that meeting, because you never know the people that are going to be visiting your club when they'll get there. And you want to always be someone who is accessible to a visitor. You have to understand that when people are visiting your Toastmaster club, many of them have never been to a club before. They don't know anyone in the room. And so if you don't have someone there to greet them, someone to make them feel welcome, then a lot of times I've literally seen people walk in and walk out of the door at a Toastmaster meeting. And one of the reasons why I think that that happened was because no one really walked up to them and asked them what their name was, shook their hand, didn't pay attention to them. People are coming to Toastmaster meetings because they're curious about it, and many of them are definitely afraid, quite frankly, of being in front of people. But when you can kind of break the ice at the very beginning by creating an environment of warmth, and that you're very open to them coming and being a part of the environment of your club, you are already starting to break the ice. So do all that you can to get to meetings as early as possible, because you don't know when the visitors are going to show up. Sometimes they will show up an hour before a meeting. Now, I'm not saying you necessarily have to show up an hour before the meeting, but definitely, I would say minimally a half hour before the meeting. A Of course, upon arrival at club meetings, you definitely want to be prepared to be the open arms person. So get yourself in the right frame of mind. I know there are actual things that we need to do when we're introducing the guests, but one thing that I think is often overlooked is getting yourself in the right frame of mind for a meeting, because your energy and the energy of the members of the club is infectious. People can absolutely read instinctively the energy that's in any room, any Toastmaster meeting. And I'm sure you've all had experiences, maybe with your club or having visited other clubs, where the energy might be really high at that club at that particular time. You may attend another time where there might be some friction going on within the club, or someone's in a bad mood, or, you know, there are a lot of reasons why the energy can really be different during a Toastmaster meeting. But I would say for us as individual members, and specifically as vice presidents of membership, getting yourself in a frame of mind of positivity, no matter where you are in your life at that time, because again, we're all living, right, while we're going to these Toastmaster meetings. We have our ups and downs. I would say to do your best, especially as the vice president of membership, because you are the person who is encouraging that person who's visiting to potentially join your club. And if they get a bad vibe from you, or if you're in a bad mood and it reflects, they will reflect that bad mood right back to you. Make a concerted effort to get yourself in a good frame of mind, where you're feeling as good as you can feel at that particular time. That is really a critical thing beyond the mechanical things, which of course, I'm a big believer that all clubs should have some type of a welcome packet, which describes what Toastmasters is all about, a welcome letter from your club specifically. In that welcome letter, and I'm probably going to pick that up, as a matter of fact, I know it's on one of the later slides, but having a welcome packet shows a level of professionalism that is critical. And it also gives them a good explanation about what our organization is all about. Have that welcome packet and make sure that you, as the vice president of membership, you have that in your hands. When you walk up to them and you greet that person, I always put one of those welcome packets in their hands. And if you don't have one of those welcome packets, which I know not all clubs do, these are the types of things that we're going to work on today, is showing you how to put one together, the elements that you can use that will be very helpful in helping you to secure people as members when they've come for a visit. During the club meetings as vice president of membership, one of the things that I've done as a VPM is actually sit next to the guest. That adds a level of sincerity and closeness for a lot of people. That is something that they really enjoy, because you're sitting there. A lot of times they have questions. For us, a Toastmaster meeting is the most natural thing in the world. We know the process. We know all the pieces of the puzzle. Again, this person may or may not have ever attended a Toastmaster meeting, excuse me, before. They may need explanation beyond what they're getting from the Toastmaster or the other members during the meeting in order to have a better understanding of what Toastmasters is all about. If you sit right next to that person, you'd be amazed at how many questions they might have for you. And of course, we don't want to be talking a lot during the Toastmaster meeting, but maybe you could whisper if that person reaches over to you and asks you a question. If you're sitting right next to them, they're going to think, this is great. This person is really interested in me as a person. And that is a critical thing as the vice president of membership. It is a very people-oriented, interactive position to be in. You want to show that you're their friend and you're someone that wants them to be a part of your club. Actually sitting next to them, they've got the welcome packet in their hand and the vice president of membership is sitting next to them. It's very helpful. For a lot of them, it'll calm their nerves because they've met you, you've embraced them. Now you've given them the welcome packet that explains what Toastmasters is all about. And then you're sitting next to them. You're really making them feel like they're a part of your club when you do that. So those are some of the things that I would say definitely during the club meetings that's really important. Also, the president of your club can help you as the vice president of membership by making that person feel really welcome. They should always be introduced. I think that guests at every club never, ever forget to allow the members or the potential members to introduce themselves. We want to get them into the thought process of taking action, of actually doing a presentation. And at the beginning for them, just introducing themselves, them saying, hi, my name is Linda. I found your club online. I came to a Toastmaster meeting because I am deathly afraid of speaking in front of people. So right there, they've already started to break the ice, you see. And so the president, in asking that person to stand up and speak, the fact that they are already a part of the meeting, they've been included in the meeting, can be something that is really important. And I know I've been to a lot of meetings where I've heard people who have been visitors who've talked about the fact that they got introduced and how they really appreciated the fact that they had the opportunity to participate in the meeting the first time they ever came to it. Again, it's a team sport. Recruiting members is always, always a team sport. And your president in particular, because that's the person who, at least in the early part of the meeting, is really in control of everything. They can contribute. So make sure that that's a part of the culture of your club, is that the visitors are introduced and asked to speak. Okay, anyone have any feedback or questions about what I just spoke about? Yes, Lori.
Guy, I was wondering, whoa,
You're there.
okay. We have guests and they're guests on Zoom. We have a wonderful guest packet that we give every guest, as you know. How would you get that to a Zoom guest? What do you do?
This is great. We've just been working on this in Windjammers Club. We were having the same dilemma with people who are visiting on Zoom.
Oh, good.
So my recommendation with that is that you create a zip file. And basically now that's a virtual membership packet. All the elements that you would have in a physical membership packet, put it into a zip file or create a PDF that has all the pages, and then always request information from your guests. I mean, I'm really big on that, which means getting them to give you their email address. That's, I think, a really important thing, because that allows you ask for permission. Can we have your email address? Because we might potentially want to reach out to you with information about upcoming meetings or different things. Now you've got their email address. You can create a zip file or a PDF and use that as a tool to be able to get information out to them about your club and let them know that you're going to be sending that.
Which would be best to use, the zip file or the PDF? Which, something that your average person would know. I don't know how to do the zip file. So would I be better off doing it PDF, because most people would know to open that?
Right, PDFs are really simple, and actually zip files are really simple.
Oh yeah?
You just have to, basically you can Google how to create a zip file.
Okay.
It's really not that hard to do, but it seems like it's very complicated, right? But it's not.
Okay.
I would say Google zip file. I don't think either one is any easier than the other.
Okay.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, so who in the club, what role is in charge of materials?
You as vice president of membership, specifically for guests or visitors.
Now I'm saying,
you
like,
are
somebody in the club is it VP of PR? Don't they have the materials?
Well, you kind of work together hand in hand with the vice president of public relations. I guess it just depends on who assumes the role. Who is the person
I was going to
that
suggest
decides.
maybe that if that person's not familiar with the technology stuff, maybe the VP of PR could put together something that could be emailed.
Right. Again, it's always a team sport. You would definitely, however you could make it work, right? If the vice president of education is good at that, they could do that. If a member who isn't even an officer is good with technology, they could help. It's always about playing together as a team.
Thank you, Guy.
I would suggest for what you should send out, I think using a PDF rather than a zip is better, because often nowadays in work environments, zip files as attachments are viewed as being suspicious. People have been kind of, because you always get things from your IT department. Do not open something you get an attachment with a zip. Sometimes they get deleted, but PDF is generally accepted as being safe. So I think that's probably the lower bar of entry to get done what you want to get done.
Plus, it's a little less intimidating than a zip file that might have multiple documents.
Multiple things that you don't know about. So
Right,
I mean,
you get just one thing and says, this
You
is
also,
our.
you also have a problem because it may be too big for one email, and that could be encompassing for the new member too. They may not want to open up so many emails like that. So that's where a zip file would come in. If you only have one file, then a PDF is fine. But if you have multiple files, and in the subject line, you can say from Pro Toastmasters and your name, that may help alleviate the problem of spam or viruses or things like that. Also, I was going to also say, Guy, when you greet someone, make sure you smile. It's very helpful when you smile at them. Sometimes I see when I go to clubs, they're not smiling. Yes, they shake your hand, or yes, they bump your elbow or something, but they're not smiling. It doesn't feel right.
I agree. Yeah, you really are setting the tone for the whole way that they perceive your club to be. And your mood makes all the difference in the world. And we're Toastmasters. We understand how important enthusiasm is. So definitely be enthusiastic about our organization, about the fact that they are there, and it is absolutely infectious.
No, and one other thing is when they come in, introduce them to other members, because they may be a mentor eventually if they join. So you need to introduce them to other members.
That's another excellent point. Yes, having people making a conscious effort to make sure that the members are introduced to that guest. That is a great point, because again, it's more of creating that environment of family. And we know your club literally is like your family. After you've been around for a while, I've been in a club for Windjammers for 13 years. Every week I have been seeing the members of that club for a very, very long time. And so literally these people are your family, and they're going to become a part of your family by introducing them to all the members. I think that's an excellent point. Something that you should definitely do is introduce them to everyone. Okay, so before club meetings, make a list of new members. The new members are some of your greatest, I love the phrase toastimonials. The more experienced and seasoned members, there's not as much of an identification for a new member with someone who, like I had mentioned, I've been a member for a long time. I know Lori Childers has been a member of Toastmasters for a very long time, and others of you out there. I think that a new person who comes and visits Toastmasters can relate more to the new member, maybe the person that's been in a month or a couple of months, because of their newness. Whereas with us, we've been working this system for a long time, and we just are doing it, they think, effortlessly. They don't realize that we've had to do it hundreds of times, right? In order to be as smooth as we are. They are so impressed with us, not knowing that they're going to be the same way if they just stick with the program. But your new members are great examples to them, because it shows them that you don't have to be perfect. None of us are perfect. And then your new members are really great people to introduce the guests to, because they can just talk about, oh my God, I went to my first meeting ever, and I was terrified. I was standing up on the lectern, and I was grabbing it. Now, this is like my 8th meeting, and you know what? I'm getting a little bit more comfortable every time I speak. They can basically start to explain how it's going to be for the new member so that they don't think that they have to be, you know, this professional speaker in 2 meetings. And they also get to watch that newer member make a lot of mistakes, knowing that it's okay, and knowing that it doesn't matter how many mistakes you're making, that that's a part of the process. They're really not mistakes, and that we're going to be there to support you no matter what. Utilize your new members to recruit potential members. I think that's something that's overlooked a lot. Their testimonials, the stories that they share about how they're growing, or you basically talking a lot during the meeting about how they're growing and how they're improving. The first meeting, they came here and they couldn't even stand up and do table topics for more than 10 seconds. We've all seen that, right? Someone comes and they're so scared they can't even, they're asked the question and they say 3 things and they sit down. Give them about 9 meetings or 10 meetings and you can't stop them from talking. And that's,
I have a question.
Could you just wait a second until I
Yes,
get to
I'm
this
sorry.
next section, and just hold on for just a second, and
Yep.
I'll allow you to ask me the
Okay.
question or elaborate on it.
Okay,
So
thanks.
it's an important thing, very important, that we utilize new members as recruiters for potential members. Also, as I had mentioned before, have a few guest packets. If you go onto Toastmasters International, item 387 shows you the elements of a great guest packet. I would highly recommend that you do that. And of course, now with us being in this Zoom age of putting on our meetings, we have to make it work in the digital world, which means it's either a zip file or a PDF, as we had talked about. But you can download all of those elements and put them in whatever form you choose.
And what website? That's the Toastmasters.org?
Toastmasters.org, yes.
Okay.
Also, contact former guests and members who have not been attending meetings. This is a part of the ongoing process of improving the lines of communication within your club. We are in an organization where we're growing as communicators. And because of that, sometimes we can have breakdowns in communication. You'll have people for a lot of reasons who are coming to meetings regularly. You think they're getting a lot out of Toastmasters. You see them growing. You see the smiles on their faces. They're becoming a part of the club culture. And then all of a sudden, they just disappear and stop coming to meetings. And you wonder what happened, you know, why? Well, there are a lot of reasons why things like that could happen. I mean, I could speak for the rest of the time that we have here about why people will be very enthusiastic about Toastmasters and then suddenly not be enthusiastic. That's why working on improving our communication skills with guests and members who have not been attending meetings is an important thing, and that your club have a process for doing that. And that falls under the role of Vice President of Membership. But again, Toastmasters is a team sport. You don't necessarily have to be the person that does that. You just have to be the person that makes sure that it gets done. Maybe you as Vice President of Membership, you have other things that you're doing. Ideally, yes, you would be doing that as the Vice President of Membership, following up with guests, following up with people who haven't been at a meeting for a while. But the main objective is that it gets done. If you have someone maybe who doesn't have an officer role in your club, who likes to talk on the phone, or who is very communicative, maybe you could recruit that person to do that job if you don't have time to do it. Maybe you have a really busy schedule and you don't have a lot of time to do something like that. Utilize the other members of the club and play together as a team. It's so important, but definitely having a system for staying in contact with the guests who stopped by. That means make sure you have a guest book. Obviously, every club should have a guest book of some type. For some people, they do it on a tablet. For some people, they have a physical guest book. You definitely need to have some way that you can track who's visiting your club. That's an important thing. And you as Vice President of Membership, you should always have access to that information to be able to follow up with them. And if they've given you permission to follow up with them via email, I love that mechanism. That device emails to people who are open to you emailing them. We don't spam people. We have spam laws within Toastmasters that don't allow us to spam people. If they don't want to be on your list for emails, do not put them on your list. You can get yourself and your club in a lot of trouble and our organization in a lot of trouble behind that. But for me, the people who have agreed that they want to be emailed information, reaching out and touching them via emails consistently, and along with consistently emailing all of the members of your club, including the ones who haven't shown up in a while, is something that is also very helpful. Someone was telling me a story about this woman who had been visited a Toastmaster club, really enjoyed the experience, but she came and she never came back. The club put her on an email list, and they were literally sending her emails for about 5 years, just letting them know when they would have open houses, announcing the meetings. One day, this woman all of a sudden shows up the club and says, okay, I'm ready to be a member now. And they said they didn't even remember her. It had been so long ago. And they asked her, what is it that made you want to come back and join our club? And she said, well, I kept receiving emails from you through all these years. I was raising my kids. I had 3 kids in high school. I had to get them through that time. And after I got them through that, now I have a lot more time on my hands and I'm ready to do Toastmasters. Such a little insignificant thing as just sending an email out to someone who wants it. I really want to emphasize the fact that you send it to people who are open to receiving emails. Doing that over and over and over again is a very important thing that can bring you members. Any questions or comments?
I have a question.
Yes.
So my question is, one club that I went to said that you had to attend 2 times before you could join. Was that a Toastmasters thing, or was that just that particular club? Like you could join on your 3rd visit?
That's definitely a club thing.
Oh, okay.
And the clubs run autonomously. If that's a part of the culture of the club, is that they'd like you to visit 2 times before you become a member, they're perfectly within their rights to do that. But no,
Right.
That's not something that Toastmasters International sanctions one way or another.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Question. When you're talking about guest book, especially on Zoom, how are you going to record? Are you going to ask them to put it in the chat box so you can record it? Or how are you going to get that information?
Their emails?
Yeah, their emails and maybe phone numbers.
Yeah, I just ask for the information. And if they don't want to give it, they don't have to.
Okay.
But I always ask. Please leave us your phone number and your email. We'd like to get back in contact with you in the future and invite you to attend one of our meetings. It's as simple as that. And if they don't want to do it, then they won't.
I suggest also reciprocating by giving them your email address, so if they want to contact you later, maybe they have questions, they have someone to talk to.
A good point. A good point. Ideally, you want to follow up with people who've attended your club within 48 hours. While it's still fresh in their mind, people have so many different things going on in their lives. It could be easy to forget you. But if you can do your best and you have to really develop a system for doing this. Because if it's just a random thing that you're doing here, you're doing there, it won't be nearly as effective as this club, like I had mentioned to you before. That club had an emailing system. When you're doing something for 5 years consecutively, that is a system for doing it. And that's where you get the benefits. If you're just randomly, one week you follow up, the next week, and I know that our lives are not all about Toastmasters. That's why there has to be a systematic way of doing it. You've got to figure out, how are we going to do this consistently? The consistency of the membership, the marketing efforts that you do, along with the vice president of education, is what brings in these members. It's consistency. You have to do this systematically and consistently. Yes, Jackie.
I was going to say that I keep 2 phone logs, basically for, we've got the members that are part of the club that get all the required information on a bi-weekly basis. And then those that have decided to either pull away, have gone elsewhere, you know, other states or whatever, I keep a separate list. And it's from that list that I pull up a few names every other day or so, when I was doing it previously, to notify that we're still a club and we miss them, you know, the same. And I found that keeping up, you know, like if somebody, we've just lost one of our members to Texas. So I've saved everything of hers. So she's now a prior club member, documented as such, but she's going to get information from us periodically to know that we're still thinking of her. And if she ever comes back, guess where she can come back to. So, but the two phone numbers, the 2 listings, perfect, works great.
Yeah, it's about contacts. The person,
Exactly.
like you had mentioned, Jackie, it's maybe she visits 5 clubs, but the club that keeps emailing her is the one that eventually, chances are, I mean, maybe it wouldn't be. Maybe there's another club that she likes more. But I would say he or she, if they're consistently receiving correspondence from you, that you're the front of mind awareness. That's what we say in sales and marketing, which is the business that I'm in. And that's that front of mind awareness is what makes all the difference in the world. It's the person that you're seeing the most that is going to resonate. When that time comes, when you want to make a decision, it's the person that you've been seeing the most who you're most likely going to decide to go with, because they've been present in your life. You feel like they're almost a part of your life, right? You've been this person sending you things for years and years and years. It's subconscious. In your subconscious mind, they're working on, again, these are, you know, I don't want to get too much into this, but these are principles I know from marketing. Is, you know, subconsciously, when you are connecting with another person, you are permanently becoming a part of their thought process.
And guess what? You keep your information up to date, holding on to their birth dates. If you're familiar with their wedding anniversaries, and when it comes, you let them know by a quick text or a little email, just to let them know that you're thinking of them. Happy birthday.
And that makes you stand out amongst the crowd.
Totally.
And Guy, I agree with you, because it's more of a relationship than just friendship. It's a relationship that you have to build. And in my business, that's important also, is the relationship between people.
It is. It's completely relational and extremely relational, we know, as Toastmaster members, because it's a very intimate connection that we make with people, because literally they're coming because generally they have some type of fear of public speaking. I mean, people have a lot of reasons for why they want to join Toastmasters, but generally there is some challenge that they're having with communication. And you showing that you're effective with communication, making them feel special by reaching out to them. There are not all that many people in life who are really making us feel special, I don't think. And when you as a club, you make your guests feel like these people are really concerned about me. They're really thinking about me. They want me to grow. I think I want to go and be a part of that. Those kind of things will make them want to join your club. You make them feel special. We have to make our guests feel very special. That's something for us to always be thinking about as vice presidents of membership.
You know, Guy, excuse me.
Yes, by the way, I'm going to move on to the next, or if go ahead, Jackie, and let me say what you
I
had to say.
apologize. I just wanted to say that, you know, when you do the meet and greet the beginning is always not for us, but nervous on their part. And we in our club at Northern Voices, we all participate in the greet when we get new people. One of the things that we do is when we do our intros, we always make sure that our guest gets involved in the intros. Tell us about yourself. What do you do? What brought you to us? That sort of thing. And then we continue around the table. And then we invite them in to do the fun projects of a part of a meeting. And then at the end, we get their feedback. So they're always participating all the way through. And I think that's the gold coin into the fountain that brings them in. That and the passion of people from the club to them, letting them know it's not mechanical, it is from the heart.
And that's a great point, Jackie. And you're already grooming them to be Toastmasters, and they don't even know it yet. They're already becoming Toastmasters without even realizing what you're doing. You're doing it in a very subtle way by making them feel like they're a part of. The more you can make them feel like they're a part of, the more they're going to want to be a part of. Because it's about more than just the fact that they want to grow as a speaker, although that'll usually be what they'll tell you. They'll say, I'm definitely afraid of getting up in front of a crowd and speaking, or I've got a job position that requires me to improve my speaking. That's why I'm joining. And I would say, yes, that definitely is a reason. People have a wanting, I think, deep within them to be a part of something. They want to be a part of your Toastmaster Club. It's not just the skills that they're going to gain. They may come in thinking that that's what they want to do. I know for me, as Larry had mentioned in my introduction, when I joined Toastmasters, I had a goal. It wasn't so much that I was afraid of speaking in front of people. I had this goal that I wanted to be a professional speaker. As I joined Toastmasters, I learned that it was so much more than that. It wasn't just the mechanical part of me coming in, developing the skills, and then going and being a professional speaker. That there were relationships and that there was leadership that I could learn. That there was so much that I could learn from these people that were members of my club, how much they helped me, how much they taught me. It's about getting that across to them. And you can do that basically by the way that you run your club. So a point here that I want to make before we move on to the next slide is the way that you run your club also really allows you to be a better vice president of membership, which is running it according to the protocol of Toastmasters. Every aspect, agendas, every component of running a good meeting is immensely helpful for you as the vice president of membership, because there is something that people are looking for. They want to be a part of something that has structure and order. That's an important and often overlooked thing. Not only do they want to be a part of something, people want order. There's so much disorder in other areas of their lives. When they come to a Toastmaster meeting, they want a predictable experience. And when you run your meetings the same every time and they're organized and they're fun and exciting, you know, exciting organization, right? It has to be fun. If it's dry and boring, they won't want to come back because they want to have fun. So I'm not saying that make it something that is not a lot of fun. I mean, I am a fun person, but structure with that fun. Create an organization, a group, your club that is organized and fun at the same time. And that's very attractive. It makes your job a lot easier as the vice president of membership. The way that your club is running has a real, it's hugely important in your ability to be able to attract members. And I've got like 15 start overs in this presentation. For whoever out there is the odd counter, I apologize. But I understand now. When you become a Toastmaster, you can count all your start overs and ahs and ums. I'm going to move on to the next slide. Oh, I want to say really quickly, for those of you who came onto the call late, will you please type your information into the chat box your name and the club you're representing to make sure that you get credit for being a part of this today. After club meetings, meet with guests to answer questions. After the meeting is over, often these people have a lot of questions about Toastmasters. They've seen it happen. Now they want to know more of the details about what it is to be a member, how much it costs, how often you meet, what is the process. Be there for them. If you sat next to them as the vice president of membership, which I would highly recommend, now that you've sat next to them, after the meeting is over, one of the first things you always should do is say, what questions do you have about all of this? Ask them what questions they have. Sometimes they'll just run up to you with a million questions, as we've all experienced. But for some people, they won't realize that they can ask questions. Stay close to them. Keep someone close to them at all times. I've seen this in clubs. I remember when I was an area director one time, and I was visiting a club. The meeting was over, the person had visited, and the members of the club just went and got right into their cliques. The cliques within the club. And you've got this guest that's sitting here that came and visited, and no one was over there talking to the guest. Everybody got in their cliques. Everybody started thinking about their clique within the club rather than paying attention to the guest. What are the chances of that person joining your club? Not very good. Not very good. You have to nurture that relationship. Spend a lot of time with that guest. Always invite guests to join the club. Always ask them to join the club. I really personally believe that the president should do this while they have that type of control when they're at the lectern. I'm not saying that you make a hard sale to them, but I'm saying they don't know if you want them to join the club unless you ask them to join the club. I've also seen this at Toastmaster clubs where a club puts on a great meeting. It's exciting. They enjoyed themselves, but no one ever actually asked the person if they wanted to join the club. You have to ask people if they want to join. You, as the vice president of membership, if they've got lots of questions to ask you and they seem very excited about Toastmasters, just say to them, what do you think? Is this something that you'd like to be a part of? And they might want to join right off the bat. But a lot of times, most people won't join something if you don't ask them. You have to ask them. And it doesn't have to be a hard sell. You know what I mean? Not everyone. Some people, that is their style. And there are people, by the way, who are very receptive to that style. And there are other people who are not receptive to it. However you go about it, please ask them to join. We are a part of Toastmasters because we are getting a lot out of it. I know that I have gotten a lot out of it, and I'm sure all of you have. That's why you're here today for this training. Don't we want everyone else to get what we've gotten? We're very giving people in Toastmasters. Give what you've received so freely through your experience to others. The only way you can do that, though, is you have to ask people to join the club. Help guests complete the membership application. You, as the vice president of membership, I would highly recommend that you learn everything there is to know about that membership application. Take some time to look at it, to understand the billing cycles. Make sure that you get them to completely fill out that application. Always have applications. They should be in your membership packets. I would also recommend, along with having them in your membership packet, that you have extra membership applications somewhere in your club box. Always have applications. When you don't have applications, and those people, it could be the day that they want to do it, and you don't have an application, unless, I guess the next best thing you could do is you could sign them up right away on your smartphone or your tablet. Find a way to make it work. But I'm really big about having them fill out and sign an application. That shows that you receive their information from them because they signed off on that. Always have applications for them to sign. Any feedback or questions about what I just spoke about? Yes, Stephen.
Yeah, on the application, how are you going to get to get the application to that person, either by email or by chat or what? How are you going to get that application since we're on Zoom?
So now we're in a pandemic, which offers a whole different challenge. You're saying actually getting them to fill out the application. I would say that if they're that excited, you don't want to give them a lot of time to think about this. They're ready to go. Send them that application. If you have to set up a Zoom call with them to show them how to fill out the application, that's one of your responsibilities as vice president of membership.
Sign the document, so you
have them sign it and scan it and send it to you, or take a picture of it and send it to you. But you always want them to sign it because you've got their information. It's whenever someone joins a club, I'm always really big on having them fill out an application. I know you can do it online, but I like to have that signature because that way I can prove if they ever come back and say, I didn't give you permission to run my card. When they've signed that application for me, that's giving me permission to run their card. It takes more work online, though. It's much different, like you said, with our current situation than it would be with us just, being able to grab that application, have them fill it out, and then put their information in online. It takes more steps, but cover your butt. Please do. Get a signed application. I'm huge. I've seen so many situations where a person says that a club charges them for membership. By the way, TI is not big about refunding money. It's just not really a part of the protocol. Once you've put their information in, it's very difficult for them to get their money back. And I've seen it with people where they will say, I never gave you permission to run that card. And they did, but they say they didn't. But when they sign on the dotted line, I think that's pretty effective. That way you have a paper trail. If they go to TI and they say they got manipulated into signing, you say, okay, you signed on the dotted line and you scanned it and sent it to me. It's even more of a paper trail. That shows to me an intention of you joining that club. Get signatures. If there's any way that you can get a signed application, I always prefer to do that rather than doing it online. You really cover yourself when you do that. All right, we've got 4 minutes to go. Any other questions, or because I want to try to see if I can get through these slides. Conduct membership building programs, often tied into open houses or other programs that are designed to get people to come and visit your club and become members. It's a critical thing to have a campaign going at all times. And they can look a lot of different ways, membership building programs. You can give out awards to members who bring in the most guests or potentially people who actually join the club. There are so many ways that you can create programs to build your membership. Also, promote membership goals. Always set a goal of how many members your club is going to add. And I would base it on the achievement of Distinguished Club program goals, because you have certain goals within the DCP that are geared towards membership growth. So try to tie it in as a way to get your goal, your club, moving in the direction of achieving their Distinguished Club program goals. Always do that. Adding membership is a big part of the DCP. And you as the VP of membership, make sure that that's something that's talked about a lot in your club. We need to add members to potentially be a distinguished club. It's an important thing in Toastmasters to be distinguished. Make that a part of your talk. You're always encouraging, let's add members, add members, add members. That needs to be, if you've got 35 members or if you've got 3 members, adding members needs to always be a goal, because you never know what can happen in a billing cycle. I've seen clubs go from having large numbers of members to literally losing half their members in one billing cycle. I've seen that happen before because of a lot of different reasons. People move, new job, not interested in Toastmasters anymore. When you make adding members a part of the culture of your club, you're constantly bringing people in, which means that when you have things like that happen, you don't lose all the members of your club because it's a part of your culture to constantly be adding members. I had mentioned contests and also follow up and keep track of guests. Outside the club, attend and vote at area council meetings. Your area director should be hosting area council meetings regularly, and I encourage you as officers to attend those. Also arrange for your replacement or assistance. Basically, I would say to start to mentor someone to take over your job when you start your job. Reach out to someone maybe who has never had a club officer role. If they're that type of person that might be interested in VP of membership, encourage them to learn what you're doing. Prepare your successor office. By the way, there are all kinds of comments inside of the chat box I'm sure that people have been sending. I appreciate them. This is going to be recorded, so your questions will be available to people who go back and watch this video. So thank you very much for everyone who has contributed in the chat with your comments. There will be people that can go back and watch this later to learn more about what you had to share. Executive committee within your club, of course, organize and conduct member contests. That's an important thing. It's a team effort, as I've been talking about throughout this presentation, something that you should be working on as a club. Membership contests are a great way to bring everyone together, to encourage them to invite people to your meetings so that they can potentially become members. Report on club membership. That should be a part of the protocol of your club. There should be some type of a reporting mechanism for you to say, this is how many guests we've had, this is how many people we actually converted into members of our club. Make a big deal about that all the time, the fact that you've brought in a new member, and make them feel special, that they are become a member of your club. How to fulfill the responsibilities, who, how, when, who, what. I wish I had more time, but I want to make sure that I end this on time, or as close to on time as possible, and I'm already 1 minute late, but I definitely want to get into the resources for all of you. Resources are things like we're doing here today, which is attending a sponsored training program, reading materials, meet with outgoing executive committee, meet with outgoing vice president of membership, and meet with current executive committee. Important things for you to do. Invite other members to be a part of the committee. It's a team sport. Conduct a member survey on Moments of Truth session. Every club should be doing at least 1 Moments of Truth every year, if not 2, definitely at least 1. We talked about creating guest welcome kits and order any required material. Stay on top of the marketing materials in the physical meetings and online, as we talked about. Stay on top of them virtually to make sure that you have everything you need to be able to create those welcome packets. Oh, I want to go back to the resources. That was not what I wanted to do, because I want to make sure that you get the, okay, so here are your resources. Success One-on-One, these are all at toastmasters.org. Membership contest information, Distinguished Club Program and Club Success Plan, Distinguished Club Program Goals, Speechcraft information. I'd love to do a presentation about Speechcraft. That's a great program for Toastmasters. That concludes this session. I wish I could take more of your questions and answers, but I went over time, which is a no-no. DTM does not mean don't time me. It means dedicated to mentoring, and I hope that I was helpful as a mentor for you today. I am going to put my information in the chat box, and you are all welcome at any time to reach out to me for more information about the role of Vice President of Membership. I'm going to put my email address. And I want you all to know that I am here for you. If you have any questions whatsoever about this role, please do not hesitate. And I'm very serious about this. I know people say these things, oh yeah, get in contact with me. I really do mean it. I appreciate it when Toastmasters reach out to me to ask me questions after I do one of these presentations. Please call me or email me, and I promise you, I will get back in contact with you. And go out there and bring people into this wonderful organization that all of us are enjoying, Vice Presidents of Membership. This is such a fun role, and you will learn so much from it. And again, engage all of the members of your club and encourage them to also be Vice Presidents of Membership along with you. Their help is very important. Have a wonderful day, everyone. And I'm going to stay on for a few minutes. If anyone has any questions, please stick around for a while. I'll be here, I'll say 10 minutes. I'll stay here for 10 minutes for anyone who has anything they want to talk about, or if you have any questions about your role. Have a wonderful day,
Thank you
everyone,
so
and
much.
enjoy the rest of TLI.
Thank you so much for your time, Guy.
Guy, I didn't get your information in the
It
chat.
should be in the chat box.
Yeah, I don't see it.
I think you sent it to privately to just one person, Guy.
All right,
It's
I
not-
thought I sent it. I'm going to resend it. Oh, that's in the waiting room. Everyone in the waiting room got it, which is no good old Zoom, right?
Well, that's how you learn, by your mistakes.
Right. Oh, yeah. Fail forward. Yes.
You know, Guy, there was something I was going to mention that we
Yeah.
do, and thank God we are all taught to do this at Northern Voices. We do
Okay,
bulk.
there's my info, everyone.
We make
Okay,
sure we
go
do
ahead, Jackie.
bulk packaging. So we've got bulk guest packages and bulk memberships. And why not? It's better to have too much than too little and run out.
Absolutely, because one of the worst scenarios is you have a very interested member and no guest pack.
I know, and this happened already one time.
It just doesn't look right. It's just not the way it's supposed to be, right? If you want
Oh,
someone
God.
to be a member, the least thing you can do is make sure that they have an application to join. Yes, Lori.
The other thing, Guy, is once they become a member, hand them over to VPE so they can set up a mentor right away with them. So because the mentor is going to be the friend that brings them through it. It could be anyone. And also that includes new people, because then it's a hand in hand. That's how I look at it.
It's a great point. Yes, Lori.
Hi, Guy. What we always did, or what I always did as VP of membership, was give each officer 3 guest packets that they were to bring to the meeting in case I couldn't show up, or in case all of them were gone. In my packets, they would be able to give a new guest one of the packets. So this way, if each officer has 3, that helps a lot.
That's more of the team sport concept. Because they've taken ownership too. When they take those welcome packets, that means, no, we're not going to just depend on the vice president of membership. I got a role to play. So I like that. I really like that. That's ownership. Great point. Anyone else have anything they want to share or questions?
Oh, Laurie gave a good one, actually.
Okay.
I mean, I think one should also make sure when you are doing what we are volunteering to do again, is just to make sure that everybody else does have a role, because God forbid we are not able to attend. Somebody's going to have to jump in, and if you know, and it doesn't matter who. So as long as they know, like we have I can't think what they call it, a collapsible box on wheels. And everything goes in there, you know, all the flag and all the other stuff. And they know that that everything's there. The only secret is trying to keep it organized.
When you got a lot of hands that are touching.
Elbows.
Yeah.
Yes, Peggy.
What is a membership of truth session?
Moments of Truth.
Moments of Truth, I mean.
So Moments of Truth is a presentation. I think it's in the Successful Club series, and it is an excellent presentation, I think, for any club. It basically is a presentation designed as an overview of how your club is functioning. And every club, I really believe, should be giving. In the traditional program, you got credit for it, I think, Advanced Leader Bronze, when you did one of the Successful Club series presentations. But what it does is one person does that presentation and allows you to evaluate where your club is amongst the best practices in Toastmasters. So that person gives a presentation, there are handouts, and you basically, this is what best practices are. Are our club members meeting best practices? And it's a great way for you to really self-evaluate. I love Moments of Truth.
And it's on Toastmasters.org?
Absolutely. You can download the whole thing there.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
No, it was a good meeting today, Guy. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Jackie, and everyone. And I mean, members are the lifeblood of Toastmasters. We don't exist unless we continue to perpetuate our species. Right?
Hey, Guy, we love each other. That's the secret.
That's right.
Why wouldn't you want to be in Toastmasters? Why wouldn't anyone, you know what I mean? Why would people come and visit us? I want every person that comes to join. Why wouldn't you want to be a part of this? You have to join.
We're showing what it's really supposed to be like. They need to learn.
Right? Communication, feedback, listening.
Camaraderie.
We actually work on listening and right in Toastmasters, improving our listening skills. So when you see some of the conflict that we have in the world,
No kidding.
a lot of it is just tied to poor listening. And we help you to develop that faculty.
Sure.
Even though we're still not perfect, we're trying. We're trying to get better at it.
Actually, I disagree. We are perfect.
All right, Jackie. Yes, we are.
I thought we'd ended on a lighter note.
Does
Thank
anyone
you
else
again,
have any
Guy.
questions or feedback?
And have a great day, Laurie.
Thank you. You too.
And you too, Carol. Bye.
Bye.
Anyone else? Questions or feedback? Still see Lori. Hey, how are you, Carol? Do you know you're still on?
Am I? I don't know.
No, you still are, but there are people that are still on, and I wonder if they know that they're still on. Carol, do you know you're still on? How about you, Claudia? Do you know that you're still on?
Hi, yes, thank you. Thank you for the training.
Do you have any questions or anything to say?
No, everything it's fine. Thank you. I learned a lot. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, I appreciate you stopping by. And like I said, if you have any other questions, please reach out to me.
Okay, thank you.
Jessie, are you still there?
I'm here. I'm listening, taking
Do you
it
have
all.
any questions?
No, I'm excited. I've been part of Chamber of Voices for a few years, so this is my first year as VP of membership, so I'm really excited about my new role.
That's great that you have this opportunity, Jessie. And, you know, being a member of a chamber club is great because people come into the chamber wanting to grow and improve their business. And I mean, there is no better way that well, there's a lot of ways that you can improve your business, but improving your communication skills is absolutely something that anyone who is a chamber can benefit from. So you're going to help a lot of people.
I'm excited. It's helped my career. I'm actually a marketing executive for a title company, and it has helped me so much. So I'm grateful. So I want to give back and help others.
Right, and you're the ultimate testimonial. With you sharing that with people that come, especially because these people are professionals. Everyone that's going to join your club, they're all professionals. You joining or you sharing about how it's helped you in your business will go a long way towards encouraging them to want to join.
Thank you again. I enjoyed today's presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Jesse.
All right, I
Carol,
hope-
are you still? Yes, Jesse.
I was just going to say thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Good luck with being VPM membership. Carol, are you still out there? Carol, are you out there? How come I can't unmute you?